Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today in this video, you're going to get to meet my family's new guardian dogs and get to learn about farm guardians. If you own livestock, this video will be especially important information for you to know. So be sure to subscribe to my channel because we are going to be going more in depth into this topic and talking more about these farm guardians and how to train them. Alright, so in this video, we're going to be going over the basics of what a farm guardian is and the three different types of farm guardians, which are llamas, donkeys, and dogs. So when you have livestock, which includes all kinds of animals like goats, sheep, cows, chickens, even horses, to name a few, that attracts predators like dogs, wolves, foxes, and other animals. Animals like sheep and alpacas are very easy targets for dogs. And that's something important to understand, is that you don't have to live out in the boonies for this to be a problem. For a lot of farmers in America, especially the homesteaders that are raising just what they themselves are eating, their biggest problem is actually dogs. So it seems like dogs are actually becoming a bigger issue for a lot of people than actual predators like foxes or wolves or things like that. Dogs are a huge problem for farmers because unlike wolves, dogs actually don't kill because they want something to eat. Dogs kill for sport, for fun. So a pack of dogs can do a lot of damage to a farm because once they kill one animal, they'll just move on to the next and keep killing repeatedly. A lot of times they don't even actually kill the animal all the way. They'll injure the animal till it's no fun anymore. Basically till the animal's no longer running or fighting and it's a severe injury where the animal's still alive and then will later have to be put down. But they'll just keep going and they'll cause so much destruction because they don't just, kill one animal and then try to eat it or something like that. They just move on to the next as quickly as they can. And that's how they're able to cause so much damage to a farm in a way that other predators don't. And then dogs also reproduce at a faster rate than other predators. And it's not even just feral dogs that we're talking about here, or stray dogs. A lot of times this is other people's pets because they don't keep them on their own property, and the dogs wander around and find farms where they can go and kill livestock. Irresponsible pet ownership is just something that is really out of control. And then I've heard some people say that the dog's owner should be held responsible in situations like this. And yes, I would agree with that. But the problem is that a lot of times you don't even know where these dogs are coming from, who the owners are. And these owners don't care about their dogs. They're not going to come forward and say that that was their dog. If you have livestock, the smell is going to bring in predators. It's just too much temptation for them to resist. And this even includes big animals like horses and cows. It can be difficult for cows to protect their babies from dogs, and dogs can tear up a horse's legs. Fencing is really important, but it's not always possible in preventing situations like this. Fencing that is required to keep predators out is going to be a lot more expensive than the type of fencing that's required to just keep the animals inside. So if there is a lot of land to fence in, it may be too expensive for most farmers to dog-proof the entire area, building fences that they cannot get through. And then you also need to think about it geographically. It may be physically impossible to fence in certain areas of land in a way that makes it dog-proof or predator-proof. And all this should now explain why it is so important to have a livestock guardian. These animals keep predators away and are even capable of killing predators. They stay with the livestock at all times and defend them from anything that wants to cause them harm. And this even includes humans because livestock thieves are a real thing. Now let's start with my least favorite, and that is donkeys. And I'm going to explain why I don't like donkeys as farm guardians. So donkeys that are used as farm guardians are typically very aggressive, and you don't want to keep them in the same pen, the same pasture with your other animals. It can also depend on the type of animal. For example, with cows, that might work in a certain situation because donkeys will have a harder time pushing cows around. But for other types of animals like alpacas, it's actually a really bad idea to be putting a donkey in with alpacas because they can severely injure them. And it could just be them fighting over food during feeding time or just the donkey being overly aggressive. So typically you want the donkey to actually be in a perimeter pasture. This means that it's actually fenced in outside of where the animals that need protecting are. So You would want the donkey to have access to the entire pasture around from where your animals are so that the predator can't come in from another side. So it would have to be, you know, like you have your animals here and then a perimeter pasture all around where the donkey has access. So that's, again, a lot of fencing. Could be a lot of waste of space as well, but that way the donkey will have access to the entire area so that if a predator does try to come in, they can attack it. But like I said, donkeys are very aggressive, so they are known to not only attack predators but also attack the livestock that they are protecting, and they've also been known to kill the livestock that they are with. And that's why I don't like them. I think it kind of just defeats the whole point. Now, llamas are actually one of my favorite guardians. Llamas and alpacas are from South America, where they've been domesticated for about 6,000 years, and llamas were bred for work. They were bred to protect the alpacas. Alpacas are weak animals that were bred for wool and nothing else. A lot of people don't understand the difference between alpacas and llamas, and because of that, there's a huge misconception that alpacas are also farm guardians. This is 100% false if you live in North America. Alpacas cannot protect anything against our large predators. In areas where there are only foxes as predators, sometimes alpacas are used to protect chickens and things like that, but it's not even really a guarantee, and it doesn't always work. So basically, the important thing to remember is that alpacas are not guardians. Don't waste your time trying to get them to be. Llamas were bred for work, and they were bred to defend alpacas from predators. They work absolutely amazing with other animals. They are very protective, and they are capable of killing a dog or a large predator. One of my favorite things about llamas is that they communicate with the other animals really well. So if a predator comes in, the llama will make a certain sound. And so the animals that it's protecting, let's say that's alpacas or sheep, goats, whatever, the animals will run behind the llama and stand there to be protected. Then the llama will face the predator, and if the predator comes close to them, the llama will start spitting. If the predator, let's say it's a dog, if the dog doesn't go away, the llama will actually be able to charge at it and try to stomp it to death. So llamas have really big feet with 2 toes that are like claws, very sharp, and they're able to hit the dog with those feet and actually tear up flesh. So they're very efficient at being able to protect the animals. Llamas do not have to have any special training. This is a natural instinct that has been bred into them. Of course, some llamas will be better at this than others. When purchasing a llama, you want to get an adult and be aware of where you're getting it from. Next is large guardian dogs. Now, this is something really important to understand, is that not all dogs are going to be able to perform this. So, for example, breeds like Rottweilers, they're really good at guarding a property, but they're not bred to guard livestock. So you need a dog breed that's actually for guarding livestock. There are certain breeds that have been bred as farm guardians, and so they instinctively know how to do this job. This, of course, is very different than a herding dog, so don't confuse it with that either. Great Pyrenees and Burmese mountain dogs are 2 very good examples of farm guardians. These dogs are really good at their job, and the important thing is that you don't want your dog to be killing your livestock. That would defeat the whole point. So that's why you want to go with these breeds that are made for doing this type of work. Right now I'm raising 2 Great Pyrenees puppies to guard my animals. We recently lost our previous farm guardian, Lichen, who was also Great Pyrenees. If you're interested in learning more about that, I made a post on Instagram back in December when it happened. Lichen was very good at his job, and so I decided to stay with this breed. When it comes to guardian dogs, I highly recommend getting at least 2. I always wanted to, but for several reasons I wasn't able to get to before. I have a whole video on littermate syndrome for anyone that might bring this up as an issue. I think getting 2 puppies from the same litter is the best way to go about it. And also, it's important to realize that these types of dogs are not pets. They are working dogs. And so they should be treated just as well as you would treat a pet. But because they are a working dog, certain things like littermate syndrome isn't really going to apply in the same way for them, because it's not going to affect working dogs in the same way that it would a pet. And I think that's a really important topic and one that we should discuss further, but I'm not going to in this video because that's not what the topic of this video is about. Like llamas, these dogs do protect their livestock without being trained to do so. It is an instinct that has been bred into them. Some training is required, like you want to teach them where they're supposed to be. If you're having them protect poultry or other types of birds, there is some training that also goes into that. But for the most part, these dogs are already going to start working. It's a natural instinct for them. One of the great things about them compared to other livestock guardians is that it is going to be less likely for a hawk to come in and kill chickens if a dog is close to them. So that's one of the really good things about having a dog versus the other two. On the downside, it seems like they have a little bit of a harder time with some of the animals in the way that the llamas communicate with the other animals. Sometimes the livestock has a hard time understanding that the dog's there to protect them, so it can be a little bit more difficult in that situation, the communication between the animals. It seems like some of the animals are more accepting of a llama guardian than a dog. Large dogs are very good at protecting against other dogs and predators like wolves and coyotes. When kept in pairs or more, they're usually able to outnumber and overpower other dogs. One of the good things is that they are one of the largest dog breeds. However, size is actually not the most important thing when picking a farm guardian. In fact, dogs that are overly large for the breed standard could carry genetic health issues that will affect them throughout their life. So you want to be careful with that. Also, sex is not a determining factor either. Both males and females make good farm guardians. One of the most important things when picking a farm guardian, now if you want to go out and find a good one, the most important thing is going to be to find puppies from parents that are working. You do not want to get puppies from pets, household dogs. You want to make sure that both the mother and the father of the puppies are on a farm and that they are working, that they are protecting livestock. This is the most important thing that is the biggest guarantee that the puppies will grow up to be good livestock guardians. And you want to make sure that the puppies have been exposed to farm animals during their first few weeks of life. Like I was saying, my two farm guardians are Great Pyrenees. Their names are Odin and Freya, and they came from a working farm. Their parents guarded horses, chickens, goats, and alpacas. And as puppies, they were raised right alongside goats and chickens. Be sure to subscribe to my channel because I am going to be talking more about livestock guardians. I'm going to be making some videos about Great Pyrenees and about training Great Pyrenees to be livestock guardians. Thank you guys so much for watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye!